Hello again. So this video is going to be about about reality and how you will deal with people in this world who cannot help. They really cannot help themselves, and that's all right. That really is okay for the ones who cannot help themselves. That I would recommend for those who are not in a organic place to just be organically and to be organic in your spirit, how you move and how you live. That for me, the reality really is just that I don't know. I think maybe there is something wrong with me because I'm not able to I don't do a lot of testing. And I think because I know me, I just simply understand that whatever decision that I make regarding anyone or any situation really is contingent upon who I am, and I'm going to make the decision that I'm going to make, um, no matter what the circumstance. I know exactly who I am, and I attribute that to my childhood, my growth, like a lot of people who know who they are. I'm not the only one. But to be in a place in my life where I know who I am and I love who I am, and no matter what, who anybody thinks, no matter what they feel, no matter what people pull together, and it reminds me of Patti LaBelle and her song, If You Don't Know Me By Now. And I love that because when she was singing, If You Don't Know Me By Now, ooh, I'm sweating like a. You will never know me. I love that song. Ooh, we all got our own funny moods. Just know that a lot of times we complicate things that does not need to be complicated. And so I understand and I live by the premise. I'm sorry. And I live by just the whole idea that um I don't know, I'm okay with I'm okay with how I move, I'm okay with how I think. I'm okay with how I feel. I'm just okay with it. And I understand that we live in a world maybe when there are people who may not I mean like and when I say who may not, that was unfinished, who may not just kind of get you. They don't get you, and it's okay. And it's okay because I realize that one of the reasons why I don't compete, one of the reasons why I don't try and emulate. And you know what's strange is that I don't necessarily have an issue with someone when you think about the Kardashians or certain people like Nicki Minaj and all of the black women in the media, in which sometimes you will kind of emulate something about them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but when you try and emulate a look or their hair, and when you think about the reality series or the soft scripted or hard scripted reality series of Love and Hip Hop or other TV shows in which you're trying to emulate something, um, what is interesting to me is that what I would ever want for any woman, and this is from my spirit, that my dream is for each woman to develop who they are specifically. So I have my head wrap on. I have um, a sew-in that is kinky hair, and the reason why I have kinky hair is because I think it's dope as fuck. I used to wear, like I said, sew-ins or weaves back in the day when I would glue my hair, glue the hair into mines, and it would be like And I decided to stop doing it at some point. And now, when people say hair is just hair, I said, no, that's a lie. For me, it's a lie. It's just simply not true. Hair isn't just hair. Hair, for people of color, it is something that is distinctive. Um, and I love my head wrap. And there is a woman who is from Africa. And at a place that I frequent, and when she sees me, she was saying about the hair wrap. I say, it's because I love Africa. I love being a black woman. I love the idea that this is distinguishing amongst, when I think about women, Muslim women, and I think about that they wear their hijab or hijab, well, I think it's hijab, when they wear that. I just think for me, what I want ultimately for women is for them to love themselves, for them to know who they are, for them being to content and to be whole. And one of the things that even though I get fucking beat up all the time, like I'm being plummeted, but I'm okay with it because my mother used to beat my ass every day. It's not the first ass I've been, and sure will not be the last. But know this: if you are watching this video, just know that it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to um, want to be different. Don't let anybody tell you that you should not. And it is not because you want attention. It is really because you just simply know who you are. You love who you are. And sometimes you may not fit, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that at any given moment. Um, Everything that I've been through, I would never change a second, even though it is hard, it is gut wrenching, it is painful. I want to cry every second. I came out this afternoon because I am struggling and I am having a difficult time, but I never stop trying to make sure that I do not fall in the cracks. And so um, I love my hair wraps, and I love them because it allows me to know and to remember the women of Africa, even though um, I want to um, do and be much more. And when I say do and be much more, um, because I wish that the world was different, but it is not. When I think of what's going on in Haiti and in different countries in Africa, and Sierra Leone, and them having the drones, and just the stuff that's happening to Native Americans, and just it's heartbreaking because I'm not able to understand what it means to uh, want to take something from someone else, to want to see something that you want that is not you, that is not of you, that is not from your border, and that you in your brain believe that you have to rob and steal from someone to have it, that you're willing to manipulate, that you are willing to do something to remove someone from their border, that you would take from that because you in your mind. And I was telling someone tonight that the first sin should be envy or jealousy. That should be the first sin, not gluttony, not anything else, but jealousy and envy. Because that, my friend, is what will destroy any and everything as it has. They're burning millions of acres in Canada like they did in California. Nobody came and set that shit on fire. I could probably die for saying that. People have said it, but you get what I'm saying. But this is the world that we live in. The world that we live in when they destroyed the rainforests and all of that, that we have to understand that at the end of the day, that there is an agenda. We are all just um, in a place that is really hard to see, watch, and be in. Our babies have to grow up in the world that is just completely destroyed. It's destroyed. I was sick the last couple of days I had headaches, and I woke up one morning and I couldn't go in early because I just was sick. I had a headache. It was I just couldn't deal with it. I took medication and everything, and I had to sleep in. Went in late. Now, a day or two ago, I realized that it was from the wildfires. I didn't even know that they were burning um, the parts of the forestation in Canada. And then when I realized that, I realized that's why I was suffering, because I have sinuses and allergies really bad. But now I know what it was from. So yesterday, it was horrible. I couldn't think, like I was just sick. I was pushing through it a little bit, but it was horrible for me. I'm a strong person. Know that I have the ability to just function through anything. But when I'm unable to just get up and just take a shower and just move through it, I know that it's a struggle because I have strong blood. And I love my mother, and I know that she came from strong stock. It took me a long time to come past that. But at any rate, um, just look at things for what they are. Understand that we are dealing with the enemy on every level. We are dealing with people that don't know themselves, that are uncomfortable with themselves, that anything that they see is a threat. And I never look at anybody else, their lanes. I just look at myself and my ability to accomplish, to evolve, to become. I don't look at things um, in a way that the average person looks at them. When I say average, I mean that I'm not competitive. Not because I don't believe in being competitive, but I just look at self development because I know that the way the world is, I don't have to compete. I don't see the world the way other people see them. I don't see it as Game of Thrones. I don't see it as I see someone and I have to outdo them. It doesn't mean anything to me. That means nothing to me. Nothing. So tonight, this particular video is simply about, as it has always been in my other videos, which is to thine own self be true. Understand that the devil is absolutely real. And the devil is envy and he is jealousy. And he is someone that cannot stand to see something that he is not. He cannot stand to see something that he does not have. He cannot stand to see something that he can never be. That the reason why that you have the financial gospel to have these things, and God is about, when I write these checks and when they see the zeros, that's all a load of bullshit. Because we all know the Messiah has nothing to do with a load of zeros, because from the way we were taught, he came at a time when there was nothing. People bring things to a square, but nowadays there is nothing to bring because they are making things seedless. There's nothing so much for people to bring because when you talk about fruit, cattle, those things are non-existent anymore. That we are fighting against many things. AI, we are fighting against drugs, we are fighting against alcohol. We are fighting against low self esteem. We are fighting against envy. We are fighting against things that have grown to a monstrous level. Monstrous. And when you pray, God will reveal to you each and every time the content and the level of your enemy and or your ally. And when you pray, he shall deliver your answer. Know this so that when you have to depart, when you have to move, you are able to do it in a way in which you're absolutely sure of your movements. And I love it. I love it because the idle mind is the devil's playground. So I'm going to end this video in that when you wake up tomorrow, just know the reality of what we are living in is the reality. You shall not sugarcoat that in any way that you feel necessary. I live in a reality. I don't live in a world that I have made up for my children, because I can try, and if I had a small child, I can create an environment in which they don't see what I see and know. But the truth is, that is what they're living in when they go to school. And if I die, it would not change the fact that we have just held wildfires in Canada. It would not change the fact that the vaccines have altered certain things. It would not change the fact that our economy is changing, the job market is changing, that the media and what we hear is directly influential in regards to how our youth is growing. Those things will not change. That is reality. It doesn't matter what I try and um, create for my child so they can be shielded from it, but eventually it will come full circle. If you give them a vaccine, that is reality, and that may change them. That is reality. I can create something so that they can be shielded from it, but it won't change the reality. It won't change that if I die tomorrow, that my son may grow up in a world that is as it is now, except worse. It won't change the reality, right? So, even though the way that I have lived my life is quite calculated, and I am in a place that is truly a struggle because I'm fighting against, but at the end of the day, I live in reality, not what I want it to be. And I can create it in a bubble, but guess what? That bubble becomes smaller and smaller, and eventually, you will not be able to hide from reality. Because back in the day when I was growing up, I'll be 50 years old in September. Back in the day, it was easy. It may have been easy for my father and my mother to shield me from something. That's no longer the case. People can't handle it. People tell me I can't handle reality. I said, oh, but baby, but I can. I can handle it. Because we're just teaching the youth to function in the world, to adapt to an environment. We're just teaching them to adapt, not to accept the reality, to adapt. And then one day, some of us may wake up and all the shit has hit the fan, and it will. And I get it. When I say I get it, you gonna wake up for some of us, and it's just gonna be what it is. But I'm grateful for every single moment in which someone has taught me something. I'm grateful for a moment when someone tells me, Danita, guess what? This is your reality. And I'm okay with it. Because sometimes people think they have pulled something over on you, but little do they know that the Messiah has given you a third eye, and for that you can see, so that when you have to move and walk away, you will know that you can move and walk away with certainty.